So this came out today. Marvel is making a round of layoffs. 15 people have been fired from production and development across Marvel Studios and Marvel Entertainment. This is never a good sign, quite frankly, for businesses. When you're losing staff, that's not a good thing. Generally speaking, it shows that some decision that you've made through the hiring process hasn't worked. So you've had to fire people. You've hired people to do a job. You don't need them to do the job anymore, so you fired them. It's not good. I just thought this was interesting. There are several ways of looking at this. You could look at this positively. I'm not going to look at this positively. Marvel's a shit show at the moment. I'm going to say that this is bad. You can say it's good long term because it is good long term, right? Because this goes to show that they realize fundamentally that the streaming business, for instance, like it's just not good for Marvel because a lot of this is to do with that. So that's good, but it's still not good from the perspective of a business structure. There's two ways of looking at it. But it's interesting, So they've fired a whole bunch of people. Some people in Burbank, some people in Marvel Entertainment New York. And what this confirms once again, which is really, really actually bad, is how they have integrated these things. So where is it? Here you go. Marvel has been integrated with Marvel Entertainment team into Marvel Studios and other Disney departments. So not only has Marvel Entertainment been integrated into Marvel Studios, right? But it's all been integrated into other Disney departments as well. So what you end up with is a jack of all trades, master of none, running everything, right? Like literally, that includes consumer products, comic book publishing, game licensing, arena shows, TV shows, movies. Like it's everything, all roped into one with other Disney products as well, which is never good, quite frankly. But it's fascinating stuff. And
I'm just fascinated with how Anthony seems to make it not that big a deal. He's always very pro Disney, pro Marvel. It's never as bad as it seems. And I also found it interesting that he mentioned the amount of money that the comic books bring in. He didn't bother to show us the amount of money that anything else. So what that tells you is
he doesn't technically. So what he says is it's comic book publishing. So it's actually all of this consumer products and comic book publishing, which takes in 40 to 60 million annually. So actually, it's all of it combined. The comic,
but he says it before he says game licensing and arena shows. You notice that it is sort of like, is it comics? You don't know.
Yeah.
And just, I always marvel, pun intended, all puns are intended, at the way Anthony writes these articles. The best thing about Anthony's articles are generally in the comments section where they were saying it's only going to be good news when they let go of Kathleen Kennedy or Kevin Feige or Bob Iger or whatever. This first comment is sarcasm. Trust me, it is. But they did getting rid of Victoria Alonso was a good move. I understand these are mostly junior executives, and you're right, there was still a lot of overlap from when Disney kind of took things, and Disney is got to be downsizing. I don't see how they've got a bunch of extra money laying around. But I don't know. They've only got the one movie coming out this year, which I actually expect it to do well. I do expect Wolverine really Deadpool to do well. Yeah. With Ryan Reynolds in charge of that.
I'm define well.
I think it's going to do as well as Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
700 million?
700 mil. Yeah, at least. I think so. Yeah.
Marvel would rather see $1 billion. This is an R-rated film. It's going to keep the numbers down a little bit.
How did Logan do? Wasn't Logan R-rated?
Logan, I believe, was R-rated. Let me look it up. I still don't think that movie performed the way some people remember.
I think Logan and the first and second Deadpool both did well. I think if Disney has kept their hands smacked away from, because originally they were supposed to include Captain Marvel, Brie Larson in this. Disney was trying to, I think the female Silver Surfer in this. They were trying to get a lot of things that would have some through lines to future projects.
Logan was 6 114 million worldwide.
Okay, that's pretty good for just Logan and not the X-Men. Plus, you add Deadpool to the mix. I think this is going to do boffo. I really do. If the first weekend reviews are good and the cinema scores an A, I think it'll have legs. Particularly, some might be going to see the train wreck, but Ryan Reynolds is pitching this as he's going to save Marvel Disney with it. So let's see. I think it'll be the last hurrah before things just go to complete trash fire. But who knows?
Let's see. Deadpool was 781, and Deadpool 2 was 786.
No reason this thing won't hit 700 easily. I think it'll do $1 billion. I'll go ahead and say right now, worldwide, 1 billion.
It's an R-rated movie.
Dune 2 is doing 700 million already. I mean, come on.
Joker did $1 billion, mate. So
yeah,
the Joker was a completely different film, but okay.
All right. Hey, listen, Culture, we can be
film,
friends and still disagree.
I agree.
All right.
No, you can't. You gotta hate one another. Fight.
You're not gay enough.
Do it.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to do, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it will do well. I think $1 billion is a pretty good estimate for it. I don't see why that's a stretch. I think there's been enough time because Deadpool 2, I didn't like Deadpool 2. I think it was a significant downgrade in quality, and I think other people thought that as well. But it's been a long enough time since Deadpool 2 for Deadpool 3 to come out, and you've got all the sort of gimmicks that'll be along with it as well, which will sort of get people involved. So I think $1 billion. I think it'll make $1 billion.
I looked at the film. I'm on record. I said 850 million. That's about where I think this will be.
Okay. Yeah. I think it'll hit that easily. Tom, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you all are somewhere about right. I mean, I even agree with Culture to a point. I'm not. If there was any other time when Marvel wasn't in the shape that it was in, I would say, yeah, y'all are right that this is going to hit $1 billion, no problem. Especially because you got Wolverine and Deadpool in the movie. Fuck how bad part 2 was. Because I agree with Nate, part 2 sucked ass. I hated that kid. I hated the whole storyline. I thought them killing what's her face in the beginning sucked. And then, I mean, it looks like she's back in this one, but they're pulling Deadpool out of an alternate universe. And the director even said this is not a direct sequel to the other film. So I have no idea how they're going to mitigate that. I've seen some of the promotional stuff for it. It's very MCU heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In fact, the catch line is assemble the MCU.
Ugh.
I don't know if you guys were aware of that or not, but that's the official tagline for this movie.
Did that come out of CinemaCon?
No, well, I saw it on a Dr. Pepper or a Coca-Cola carton. Yep.
Right.
With a bunch of other like Avenger looking dudes and stuff. So like, yeah, this might be setting up the Young Avengers crap that we've been worried about too.
Right.
I have a lot of weird feelings about this movie. I've heard good to bad things from behind the scenes, but I don't know who to trust anymore with half of my info on some of these things. Plus things change so quickly. I mean, because we had heard rumors that they were shooting cameos for this way back when.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say what's going to wind up in this movie. It's already been pretty much leaked and confirmed by people we know that Henry Cavill is going to be in it too, possibly. So, it's like all this other stuff's going on in this movie. This is going to be a big, crazy thing. So it has potential to be big if the movie is good. I think a lot of people, and I've noticed this with other movies too recently, especially like with Ghostbusters is a good example of this, where it's hung on. Why? Because people waited that first couple weekends to see how word of mouth was, I think. And it did scare some people off. I think it scared some people off, but I think there was some people that were just like, you know what? It sounds like it's not that bad. I'm going to check it out. And it's been kind of hanging in there. It's not doing great, but it's just hanging in there. This movie, if the word of mouth is, it's excellent, it's fun, it's all these things that we were hoping it was going to be, make $1 billion, no problem. If people come out of that first weekend going, it was kind of a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Then it's going to go south and fast. Because I see where you guys are coming from, where it could do as well as Guardians or better. That's where I think you're right, Chris.
Well, I mean, it's Disney's ball. It's in their court. They can ruin it, or they can have, like you said, a big gonzo, fun, wild movie. like a carnival ride, and satisfy all the MCU fans, satisfy the X-Men fans, and really bring it all together. It would be a shame if they dropped the ball, because this is their big opportunity to sort of get a reset.
Yeah, because this is what Deadpool 2 should have been, probably.
Well, yeah. And I don't know what went wrong with Deadpool 2. I didn't care for a lot of the casting in that.
Ryan Reynolds had more control.
That's what has me worried.
Yeah, that may be true.
That's right. Because they got rid of Tim Miller and the original writer.
People that actually pushed back. Yeah, people that actually pushed back. So yeah, I don't know.
You mean
real quick,
Tim Miller, that guy?
Yeah, well,
at least Tim Miller was smart enough to come out and say, you know what, I probably shouldn't have said that, or at least that's not how I meant it.
That's not how I meant it, right? Yeah.
Chaos is fun. Says, how much you willing to bet they fired the competent staff first? More than likely, to be fair. More than likely. Israel R super chatted $5 on Streamlabs. Says, hello gents, I think seeing an R-rated version of The Killing Joke for a Batman would be a good idea, depending on the director. Thoughts? Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I think everyone would like that. Yeah.
I don't know if you could pull a movie out of it, because that was my issue with the animated version, because they had to extend it to make it a movie, and everything that's not part of the comic is wretched.
Yeah.
But if they had just taken what was the part of the comic and released that as like a short animated feature before, like, Batman v Superman or something like that, I think that would have been amazing. But as far as live action, unless you can find a good way to do it with adding story to it, because unfortunately it's such a short story that doesn't fill out, at least a 90-minute even movie running time. So
yeah, it's thin.
Yeah.
It's thin.
Real quick as well, actually, this is an interesting question. I think, just continuing on from the Deadpool thing, how does the panel think Captain America 4 will do? I think it'll do fucking terrible, excuse the language. I think it'll be actually really, really bad. I think it'll struggle to do $500 million.
I think you're right.
You're right.
They somehow managed to show CinemaCon a first look, like 15 minutes of the film or some shit.
How? Because they're going back and
I know. I'm thinking, are you showing them the scenes you decided to keep?
Are you sure they're not just showing a sizzle reel? Was that all it was?
Maybe
this is what Sparrow thought they meant.
It's gonna suck.
I know they played the first 9 minutes of this Deadpool Wolverine, but I didn't get any feedback on that.
Yeah, I haven't either. And we knew some people that were there, which is kind of weird, unless they had to sign NDAs or something.
Well, I got a breakdown on Bleeding Fool, and it sounded funny. It reads funny. I mean, we'll see.
You got a breakdown of it?
Yeah, and it brings in the time travel stuff from Loki, and yeah, it's wacky. But
how much does it seem to connect to Loki, though? That was kind of my
it seems to connect directly to it based on reporting.
Yeah, the TVA.
But you don't have to actually see Loki for the film to make sense.
No, it's just the TVA.
Oh, I hope God.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, Creek Indian Alita Army, my friend. I think this is going to be ass. I think
this is the Marvels Part 2. Yeah.
That's fair.
I think they just messed up. The Falcon.
Oh, I was thinking of Deadpool. You had the first. I was still hung up on Deadpool.
Deadpool did show the first 9 minutes.
That's what I thought too. That's why I got confused. I was like, yeah, never mind.
At the Captain America 4, I think Marvel has they've screwed up Captain America. He's a legacy.
It's not Captain America.
No, it's the Falcon in a uniform. And the TV show. I think once the TV show came out, I lost any hope for Anthony Mackie to be Captain America.
I lost any hope of him being Captain America when they cast him as the new Captain America.
Well, that's when it happened. The Winter Soldier and
I have no interest in this. Look, Anthony Mackie's a fine actor, great in the character he was playing previously. Could have been really expanded that relationship with Cap as it is in the comic books. That would have been a better choice than to try to shoehorn him into the captain role. That was,
to me, it's very tokenism. It's like the Falcon. It wasn't the Black Falcon. It was the Falcon, and he was a superhero who's partners with Captain America.
Yep.
And to have him step away from that and be the Captain America character, I think was just it downgrades the Falcon.
Well, it also downgrades the Captain America.
Well, sure.
No.
Yeah, I mean it's not the super soldier anymore.
No,
Yeah.
and that's and again, I
Well,
mean,
numbers. Can we just get some numbers then? I reckon it would struggle to hit 500 million was mine. What do you reckon? Get some numbers.
500 million. Oh, I think 4. I don't think.
Oh, wow, okay.
I don't think it'll hit 500,000.
Okay.
All right, man. I'm gonna stick with where I fully expect this to go at 485.
All right, Tom.
No, I think y'all are. Even that might even be high. I mean, look at where the Marvels ended up. And look, we watched $1 billion+ franchise in Black Panther lose almost half as much in the sequel. Because why? Because you didn't have the actual titular character in the movie.
Yeah.
Right? Here we go again with Captain America without Captain America. And we all know Falcon is Falcon. And to me, I mean, I don't even need to go down the whole like how degrading, I can't even speak.
Degrading
it is for the character to be basically saddled with somebody else's leftovers when he already had a well-established character in part.
Yeah.
And Falcon has been for a long time. I have a really amazing poster. I just forgot who the artist was. I think it was who was the big artist in the 70s for Marvel? I'm having a
Buscema, Kirby.
I think it was Buscema
who
did it. It's of this really awesome poster that has just about every major Marvel character on it.
Sweet.
And Falcon's on there, right? So even then he was pretty well established.
Oh yeah.
So and this poster's from like the late 70s, early 80s, at least, if not like in the 70s, like I said.
Well, the Falcon was the first Black American superhero in mainstream comics. Came out in 1969. He preceded Black Panther. I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So any numbers, Tom? Just a number. Give me a number. Any number.
350.
You know, the Marvels didn't even hit 200 worldwide.
You heard it here first, folks.
I'm being very generous, considering I don't think it's going to do as well or better than the Marvels. The Marvels at least had Brie Larson. Look, say what we will about her.
She had a white top.
What's his ass ain't no Brie Larson. I can't even think of his damn name right now.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's. We got a super chat. Sorry, from William Fleming for $1 says Peter Weller was an excellent casting for Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, good comment there, mate. Let's shuffle on now to